Hello YouTube, and welcome to the inside of my head. I've just been taking a bath, and that should be healthy for you, right? Or maybe unhealthy? Who knows? Actually, I need to get some water, because now I have to speak. Or talk, whatever you like. What is different anyway? But no, I must stop myself. Last time we went way too far. I was thinking about every single word I was saying, but actually it will be about a topic today. And yeah, again, you don't know it, this is a series about what's going on in my head and how I think about stuff, where I share my thoughts I've been thinking in my head and the situation I think them in, whatever you can call it. And yeah, maybe you will find it interesting to hear about how I think about stuff. Maybe you will learn some tricks to thinking a new way yourself. Maybe you will get a good laugh. Or maybe you will find it boring. Whatever. But I have been seeing what the fuck is that word even? I have been seeing some new ads, or actually a single new ad today. I have seen it 2 times now, and it bothers me just as much the second time as the first time, because it's kind of an ad about health. It's like I'm living in Denmark, and it's an ad in Danish, and it's like you can see down the corner. You cannot always see that on ads. Sometimes you don't know what the ad is for before the end. But in this ad, you could see down the corner of the screen there was a little icon where it actually said the name of the organization that was making the ad, I guess. I hope that's the organization that made the ad, or else somebody has stolen their logo and name and put on their ad for no reason at all, or something. That's my way of thinking again. I cannot be sure, because I have not watched the ad to the end, because I get fucking sick in the head of watching that ad. And it's not just because I think the ad is full of bullshit, it's also because the ad is repeating itself, because it's actually a song, and it's a song where you have like 5 sentences in the song, and when they sing the 5 sentences, they start over with the first again. So imagine that. It's a very short song. It takes like 15 seconds or something to sing the whole song, and then they start over, and the ad lasts for 3¼ minutes. Do I calculate that? For 15 seconds is 1/4 minute. So if I'm right, if I'm spot on with my calculation, it's 4 times in a minute, and it's 3¼ minutes, so it will be 13 times they sing the same fucking shit in that song. I have heard it over like 5 times, and then I could not take it anymore. But to the point, the organization down the corner of the screen is, I think it was called Fødevarestyrelsen, which is a very Danish name, you can hear that. It's directly translated to, I'm not sure how directly I can translate it, because it's some strange words they have used. But fødevare is something about food, and styrelsen is something about running some things, like you're taking control over some things. So it's kind of the organization in charge of the food, you can say that. But it's a very strange translation, and don't really tell what the organization is really about. So I will rather compare to WHO, which is the World Health Organization, so you probably know that. That's, as the name suggests, the organization, the global international official organization for health. And this is kind of the Danish organization for health, but they just specialize on food and not so much on illness and such. So imagine that. A Danish health organization specialized on food. That's what we have here. If you have the National Health Organization and they are specializing only on foods, will you then think that they know what they're talking about when they talk about foods and diets and what you should eat and what you should not? Yeah, I guess so. And that's probably also why they make these ads, because they are like, most people will see that ad and just do what we say, tell them to do, because they believe in us or something, right? The problem is that I can think for myself, so I don't believe in what people tell me. Just because they tell me, I have to prove it. And if I already know the stuff they're telling me, but it's different, and therefore know they're wrong, then I will not believe them no matter who they are, because I already know what the truth is. But what they are singing in this song is basically, now I'm just translating it to English for you to know, and even if you're Danish, you probably will understand anyway, because either you have seen the ad and know which words I'm talking about, or else you probably figure out the Danish words after my translation anyway. So I try to translate this song ad thing to English, and they are basically talking about you should eat some greens, like some vegetables mostly, and I never learned to pronounce that word correctly, but when I say vegetables, I mean the green stuff you eat. Like you have fruits, and then you have vegetables, vegetables, yes. That's the two kind of green stuff you have. And then you have meat and such. Eggs and breads and stuff other than the green. So you have these two greens. They're mostly talking about these vegetables. Don't you dare make fun of my pronunciation of. Don't you dare make fun of my pronunciation of the word pronunciations. Okay. So they're mostly talking about you should eat that. And also talk a little bit about fruit as of what I remember, but just a little bit, not enough for people to actually hear it. People should really listen to the lyrics if they should hear the fruit part. They mostly talk about the vegetables. And then they say, eat less meat and eat more fish. And then they also make fun of themselves in the song and say, yeah, but are fish not meat or what? But they actually don't answer the questions, which are, yes, fish are meat, but fish are a very different meat from land animals. Likewise, chicken, which is a bird, is very different meat from land animals. Chicken cannot fly, but they're still made of kind of the same meat as a flying bird. So birds have very different meat from land animals. I think also that's why some vegetarian eat chicken, which make them not a vegetarian, but however, they just hate eating the land animals. So we have these three layers of animals. We have the land, we have the sky animals, we have the sea animals. So yeah, fish are made of different meat than a cow. They are not alike at all, they are very different. So it makes kind of sense to choose a diet after which type of animal you want to eat. But to say I don't eat meat, I only eat fish is a stupid sentence, because you could say it the other way around. I don't eat meat, I only eat cow. Then it will make just as much sense if you think about it. And the way you will think, other than you are a very stupid person, is you probably don't eat other meats than cow, since you say it like that. So you can kind of say that and make sense of it, but it is a stupid sentence and it is grammatically wrong. However, they don't explain it, they just make fun of themselves. So they just say, we know our sentence is wrong, but we also know what we mean. And that's kind of clever in a way, but also kind of stupid. They don't explain it. They cannot make fun of themselves and then don't explain why they say it anyway. However, the context is eat a lot of vegetables, maybe a little fruit, less meat, but more fish. If you eat meat at all, then more fish than the other animals. That's what they're saying in the song, basically. And then they're also talking about some very special greens, like lenses, and it makes kind of sense. I think they also talk about beans and stuff. So they talk about the kind of vegetables not many people know. I'm talking so much about beans, I'm talking about lenses part here, and that you should eat that. And they have a lot of protein in them. So they're actually talking about another alternative to get protein instead of meat, the meaty way of getting protein. And that's quite clever if you're talking to a vegetarian that, or a vegan, whatever, that really wants to be vegetarian or vegan. Then it's a good idea to tell them how you can get the protein other ways around. But they are not talking to vegans and vegetarians, they're talking to all of Denmark, which are very strange. But they basically tell all of Denmark, try to eat this meat and more vegetables. And they don't tell why they want you to do that, or the fact that you have to eat the lenses if you don't eat the meat. So actually you don't tell the full story at all. So a person could listen to the ad that say eat some more vegetables, for example lenses. Then they can be like, okay, I will eat some more vegetables, but I don't know what lenses are. But it doesn't sound that important, so just eat some carrots or stuff. That's very dangerous if people actually listen to the ad, because then they will get less protein, but not the alternative protein. But that's one thing. One thing is the ad don't even work if the ad try to convert you to a vegetarian or a vegan, because it doesn't really do that. It just tells you to eat some less meat and some more vegetables. It's basically that what the ad told you, and that is not a good idea, because then you get less protein and more carbs, and that's not necessarily, if you get enough protein already and you don't get enough carbs, maybe that's a good idea to get a different amount of each of them. But if you get the right amount already, then it's stupid to change it. So just getting less protein and more carbs is not always a good idea, and actually very not that often, because you can actually not get too much protein. That's the only thing you cannot get too much of. And people never get close. People almost never get enough protein, but they get a lot of carbs, because we have sugar, and there's sugar in fucking everything nowadays. So who probably gets too much sugar, which is a bad kind of carbs. So don't get more carbs, especially not if you get less protein, because if you got more of everything, that would be fine too, because then you just get more energy. And since you want to eat more, you probably need that energy anyway, so to get more than anything is not bad. But if you got less of the good things but get more carbs when you already get way too much, that's a bad idea. But that's not even the point here. The point is the ad are clearly trying to make you at least more vegan. It wants you to eat this meat, and that will be very normal if it comes from a vegan organization, something. But it's not. It's coming from the Food Health Organization. It comes from the organization that tells you, we know about foods and we know which foods are best for you. And you can discuss that in a very long time because people don't agree what foods are best for you. So this is just one opinion from the Danish Food Health Organization thing. And of course they can only have one opinion at a time, so they will have one of these opinions that exist, and it's maybe not the same opinion as me or another guy that's watching the ad. So that makes kind of sense. But if you are the National Health Organization, shouldn't you have a reason to believe in your belief, in your version of the truth? And there is, of course, reasons to believe in everything. And there's different tests made, and some tests don't match up, because one test maybe show that this meat is good for you, and another test maybe shows more meat is good for you. They cannot be right, both of them, and that's because if you eat this meat, then you have to do an alternative. If you do a good alternative, maybe it's better. If you do a bad alternative, maybe it's worse. And therefore both outcomes can happen in these tests. So therefore we can have tests that don't match up. So to see what is best is very hard from these tests, because we have done a lot of tests and it doesn't really work out now. And yes, so there should probably be a lot of more tests before we get that full picture of how food works in our system. So, and that is one reason people eat like they do, because one single test has shown that one person got healthier of changing to that diet. But what did he eat before? Did he eat shit or did he eat good before? It depends on what you eat before. Also, many people get healthier when they change to a vegan diet, but that's because they change to a diet at all. That's because they ate shit before, and because they changed to vegan, they are thinking all the time, don't eat meat, don't eat meat, don't eat meat. And when they think so much, don't eat meat, they also think, don't eat shit, don't eat shit. So, if you think about your diet, you will probably eat healthier. If another person switches to a meat-only diet, like the opposite of a vegan, don't eat anything but meat at all, then the person will probably also get healthier, because they also don't eat candy and other shits, because they have to only eat meat. So if you are switching to a very strict diet, you will probably get healthier, because most people eat shit nowadays. I don't eat so much shit. I eat a very diverse diet, and mostly eat healthy things from that the parts of the diversity of the diet. So if I change to a very strict diet, it will probably be less healthy for me, because as every organization I've ever told you, eat diverse. And the best way to eat diverse is to not exclude anything. Of course, some things you can exclude. You can exclude candies, because that's not good for you at all. But you should not exclude like bananas or something, because why exclude some things at all? Eat it in a proper way instead. However, now they got some opinions in, but also something I think everyone agrees on, that we have to eat diverse. And it's just a fact that the easiest way to eat diverse is to not exclude things. So I actually just throw out facts, but there was also an opinion about that fact, that my opinion is you should not exclude things, like excluding meats, for example. So there was a bit of an opinion back there, but I was not about to talk about my opinion right now, because yeah, there's these different ways of seeing the diet and what is the healthiest diet. And there exist many diets that tell you that they are a healthy diet, but they are very different. And there is a reason to believe in every single diet, But there's different reasons to believe, and some diets have the same reason to believe. That one test has shown that one person got healthier. So it's not the most unhealthy diet. That's actually what that test shows. It just shows that you could eat more unhealthy than this diet does. So it's like an okay diet. Many diet has this reason to exist, but if that's all you're going for, you cannot just choose one. You cannot be a national health organization and just choose one because you like that the most. You cannot choose it if there is another diet that has the exact same reason to be chosen. And therefore I think there's only one single thing you can do if you want to choose a specific diet and you are the National Health Organization, because you can also do it in other ways. You can do it like I just told you before, tell people to eat diverse and to not exclude anything but the stupid thing. Of course, don't eat too much candy. You can eat candy. You don't have to exclude candy totally if you don't want to, but eat less candy, eat more food. That's what they should tell you. Not eat this meat and more vegetables, because then you try to exclude a good thing for you. And maybe, just maybe, find an alternative that's just as good. But that's not something you should tell people. You should tell people to exclude candies, cakes, whatever, that kind of things. You can do that, but that also makes so much sense. It don't make sense to make an ad. Everybody knows that, so don't make an ad to tell people that anyway. You could do that and then say eat diverse. Try to get some things on the plate. Try to get some meat. If you don't want meat, try to get some protein in another way. Try to get some vegetables, but also fruits, because you should not eat vegetables instead of fruit. You should eat both, and do it like that instead. Try to include every diet in your telling, and try to just tell people to eat diverse. But if you should choose a single diet, which is the easiest one, because you can see it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain without stepping some diets over the toes, if you can say like that. So if you have to choose one single diet and tell all the people of Denmark to follow that diet, then there is only one diet that actually makes sense to say rules over all the others. And that is, of course, an opinion of mine, but I also think it's backed up with a lot of facts, because, again, as I told you, it's a fact that most diet has been marked healthy because a single person has got more healthy in one test sometime, but it cannot make sense that one diet that excludes a whole other diet can be healthy when the whole other diet that is excluded from that diet also is healthy. Then everything is just healthy. And is everything healthy? There's nothing that's healthy, because if there's nothing that's unhealthy, there will be nothing that's healthy, because that works in together. It's like when we only had one temperature in the whole universe, there will be nothing that's hot, because nothing is cold. It will just be one temperature. So if everything was just equally healthy, there will be nothing that's healthy. So therefore, it makes no sense in real life that one diet can be healthy when another diet that does the opposite also are healthy. There must be one thing that's healthier than the other, right? But when you're testing people, they live different. It's very hard to find people that live equally in every single way and then just change this single thing. Also because maybe the diet consists of something that's healthy and something that's unhealthy, and then the other diet consists of equally amount of healthy and unhealthy things, and therefore they're equally healthy. But it's not because you have to follow everything in that diet. You can choose some things, you just have to choose the right thing. That's very hard to find out. So it's a fact that all of these diets that exist don't really have the spot on proof that they actually works as they're telling you they are. But one diet, the Paleo diet or Stone Age diet. Paleo actually means old Stone Age, which are very interesting because there are 3 Stone Ages. don't have to mention the names of all three, but the oldest one are called the Paleostone Age. And that one lasted for about 3 to 5 million years ago. It depends on what you wanna make the point you start the Stone Age. Let's just say at least 3 million years ago, the Paleo part of the Stone Age started, and that one lasted to amount 10 to 30 million years ago. Not million, 1,000 years ago, of course. We cannot go back in time. So for 3 million years ago, at least to a maximum of 10,000 years ago. Or maybe some say this Paleo lasts longer, but around 10,000 years ago. That's where the Paleostone Age was. The Paleo times. Yeah, I don't know if we can say Paleo Age. Paleotic. I think it's called Paleotic Age or time or whatever. And the interesting part about that is that science tells. I'm not saying that science is totally sure about this thing, but let's just say what science has shown up until now points in the direction of our digestive system has not changed in the last 10,000 years. So that's exactly where the Paleo part of the Stone Age ended and where the second part of the Stone Age started. Because the Stone Age didn't end there. The Stone Age ended 2 to 4,000 years ago. It depends on which part of the world, because we are not evolved equally fast. So in some parts of the world, the Stone Age ended before other. But that's a whole other story. The total Stone Age ended 2 to 4,000 years ago. And between 10,000 and 2,000 years ago, there was actually 2 parts of the Stone Age. So very short compared to the Paleo times. That is the longest time. It's longer than the 2 others combined. Actually, only the Paleo part of the Stone Age are longer than all the other ages we have lived up until now, because we have only lived 12,000 years after the Paleo part, but the Paleo part lasted 3 million years, so longer, much longer. But in that Paleo part, if you had to believe science, you had to believe science at all to think that the Paleo Stone Age existed, or else you think something else. So you have to believe science to follow me here. But if you believe science up until the point where they say that your digestive system has not changed since 10,000 years ago. And you should believe science, because if you are a health organization, a national health organization, you should believe science. You are the one that should believe science. If you're a small organization about something else, if you're not an organization that tells facts about other things, then you can believe in other things. But if you are an organization that have a job where you tell a whole population of a country facts that you say are facts, then you have to believe in science. So if you therefore believe in science and believe that our digestive system has not changed in 10,000 years ago, then you must believe in the Paleo diet, because the Paleo diet was what we ate before 10,000 years ago. So the Paleo diet is what we ate through the times that changed our digestive system to include things in our diet. And what has happened in the Stone Age? When the Stone Age started, and that depends on where the Stone Age started, because we actually began to eat meat. It's a little spoiler, we have not eaten meat all the time, but that depends on what you include in "we", because humankind as Homo sapiens actually has eaten meat all the time. But if you include all hominids, so back in time before 300,000 years ago, where Homo sapiens started existed, but 3 million years ago, where Homo sapiens was nowhere near close to existing. Then the other hominids started to eat meat around 3 to 5 million years ago. So depending on where you start the Stone Age, it was in the start or just before the Stone Age, or maybe million years before the Stone Age. Again, depending on how you start the Stone Age and which evidence of our ancestors eating meat, you believe in. It's quite blurry there. It's big time jumps here. But either we start eating meat just after the Stone Age started or just before the Stone Age started. So the paleo diet consists of meat. Check there. The paleo diet, no matter how you look at it, consists of meat. But before we started eating meat, then we ate mostly fruits and grasses actually, and leaves from trees. So and if you hear me right, no vegetables at all, only fruits and leaves and grasses. So where we were mostly eating like a cow at that time, just different grass species and the fruits we were able to eat and berries. And then we started eating meat. We don't eat vegetables yet. We start eating meat before we ate vegetables. Remember that one. And tell that to the vegan friends if they are telling you otherwise. It's not to mock vegans. It's just because some vegans say that originally we don't eat meat. And that can be true depending on how you look at it. It depends on what you include in we. We as Homo sapiens has always ate meat, but not vegetables. Because even 300,000 years ago we don't eat vegetables. So in that case they are wrong, and actually it's the opposite way. One time humans only ate meat and not vegetables, and not the other way around. But if they mean we as in humankind and their ancestors in the hominid group of apes, then yeah, at some point we didn't eat meat. But that's so freaking long ago. And way before we started eat vegetables, like millions of millions, not millions of millions, but millions, multiple millions of years ago, before we started eat vegetables, then we began eat meat. So it's quite stupid for a vegetarian to talk about me not eating meat in a point in time when they are eating vegetables, because if they should live their life after what we ate before we started eating meat, they should not eat any vegetables at all. So it's stupid. It's so stupid. Not because they are stupid, but it's just wrong. Because I'm not saying everyone that don't know as much of the paleo diet as I do is stupid. I'm just saying it's wrong. And it's just so wrong that it hurts my head because I know how wrong it is. That's the annoying part of knowing stuff. But yeah, so at some point we mostly just eat fruits and stuff. And we actually didn't eat that much fruit because we could not take that much fruit in our digestive system. We got stomach ache and shitting ourselves with bad stuff. So we ate mostly grasses actually and leaves. So very different from our diet today. We cannot really use that to anything because if I started only eating grass, I'm pretty sure I'll die tomorrow. At least of boredom, if not anything else, or suicide or something. We cannot just start eating grasses and only live by eating grasses, because now we have started evolving our digestive system so much. Again, if it ended 10,000 years ago, then that's 8 million years later than the point where we only eat grasses. So we cannot really use that for anything anymore. So we have to go through in time. Then we start eating fruit and more fruits. We could take more fruit, but not that much fruit. We have never been at a point where we mostly eat fruit because we cannot take that much. It becomes too much for our digestive system even today. I've heard some stories about if you eat 6 bananas in a day, you will actually die because you get too much of the stuff that is in bananas, the stuff that is in fruits. And I know that's a lie, because when I hear that the first time, I have been eating 9 bananas. That's my record. In one day, multiple times. So it's about 5 to 9 bananas I've been eating every day when I worked in the supermarket, because we got free fruits and banana is my favorite fruit. So most days I just took some bananas until I was not hungry anymore, and I always counted, so that ends between 5 and 9 bananas, which are the point where you should die, according to what I hear after I worked there in 3 years. So that's a lie, but it's probably true that it's not healthy for you to eat more than 10 bananas a day, because you can get too much fruit, and you should not eat that much fruit in a day. However, then we started eating meat. And actually, one thing that's true about the new commercials about diet and stuff is that we ate mostly fish, actually. Not mostly fish, like we eat more fish than cows and more fish than pigs. No, we eat more fish than any other land animal together, like the whole group of land animal. It was like all the meat we ate was at one point 80% fish and 20% other animals. Because fish was the easiest for us to catch, and we could catch a lot of fish in one go. Where when we are hunting an animal like a big mammoth, yes, it was a very big animal, but it took days to freaking get that mammoth. So that's probably why. So we ate mostly fish, but also other meats, and we actually ate a wide variety of meats, because we actually just killed every single animal we will see and was able to catch. And actually that's why we lose our hair, because we ate more meat and was hunting more, and the hair was resisting in the air. Yes, the hair was making a lot of resisting in the air when we was running. So because we lose our hair, we could actually run faster. That's at least the most believed reason nowadays to why we lost our hair back in the day. Because we lost our hair in kind of the same time where we started walking on 2 legs. And we probably walk on 2 legs because we were running more and not crawling so much in trees. When we was crawling in trees, we were losing all our limbs at the same time. When we go down the earth, we did the same. But when we starting walking much around on the earth, we start just walking on 2 legs, because we don't need all 4 legs. And we could use our hands to other stuff. We could eat when we walk, we could carry a spear to kill the animal and stuff. And we could throw stuff when we walk around. It was very smart to do that. But the funny thing is, the paleo diet, as what you hear today, it's very modern to live by the paleo diet. And that's probably where you have heard the word paleo the first time. It's probably in some diet, some book where it says paleo with big letters. And also live by the paleo diet is so healthy. And that sentence is not untrue, in my opinion at least. I think it's very healthy to live like our ancestors at the time where our digestive system stopped evolving so much. And now I'm saying so much because it has probably evolved a tiny bit. So, but the problem with that is that actually the paleo diet described in these books are not paleo diets at all, because I think with paleo diet is they always include meat. It's not vegan books, so it's not that bad. It includes meats, but it doesn't include meats in the way the paleo diet does. It does include meats like you should eat mostly meats, because at some point in time 80% of our calories came from meats. So we were eating way more meats than any other stuff combined. It's not like today where only a third of your plate should be meat, or probably nowadays it's probably only 20% they say it should be meat. It's not at all close to the paleo diet. It's more like 20% should be not meat and the rest would be meat. Meat should be way more than half the plate. If you can imagine that. If you should eat like the paleo diet. And that's not how the paleo diet books describe it. They don't describe you should eat that much meat. And also the paleo diet books include a lot of strange things. Like I'm not sure, but they probably include linses too. I have a paleo book. I have read it, but a long time ago, and it doesn't interest me anymore because it's so wrong anyway. But it probably includes some very strange things you don't even know exist. And that's not because they ate that in the Stone Age, paleo times. It's probably just because it sounds fancy or something. Because all these fancy things going on, we didn't eat that at that time. We ate a very wide variety of meats, but the other things we ate was quite not so strange. It was just some fruits, some berries. That's mostly it. We ate of things that was not meat. We at one point we still ate some grasses and leaves, but it evolved to becoming more meat and fruits. Like the fruits has carried on, but it's like the grasses and leaves was changing to meat instead of meat compensating it. So we ate less of that and more meat. So at a point it was probably just meat and fruits and berries. And some days we probably ate a lot of fruits and berries because we didn't catch any meat, but most of the time, as what we can see when we are studying our digestive system of the fossils we have, most of the time we actually got to get some meat. Almost every single day we got some meat, so it was not that bad anyway. We were really good to hunt some animals and get our meat of the day. So the paleo books, and one good thing about the paleo books is actually that they always include a lot of berries. Not so much fruit, but still some fruits, but mostly berries. And that makes kind of sense because when we went down to the ground, instead of living in trees, it was easier to get berries than getting fruit. So we was changing to eat more berries and fruit, so it makes kind of sense to have that in a paleo diet. But also another point is that most people eat like bananas and apples and oranges, fruits, every day. But very few people, what I know at least, and have seen in videos and stuff, eat berries every single day. Most people has tried berries. Most people have tried a strawberry and buy strawberry milkshake every time they're on McDonald's maybe. And strawberry ice creams and stuff with strawberry. Strawberry is very famous, but I think very few people eat strawberries every single day. So we are not eating berries every single day, at least what I have seen. So the paleo books try to convert you from eating fruits to eat berries instead, and that makes kind of sense because again, back in the day we eat more berries and fruits, where today we eat more fruits and berries. So it makes sense the paleo book don't try to make you eat more fruits because you probably already eat fruits, but try to make you eat more berries. So it makes sense that not so much fruit in there because they know how we eat already, but there's a lot of berries, and I actually like that about paleo books. But again, that should be it. It should be meat and berries, and that should be what the books is about, and what the books try to teach you to like make and eat. And there's probably a paleo book out there that actually do what I just told you. But I just say the paleo books I have read and the sites of internet, whatever paleo diets I have written about, is not actually precisely paleo diets. But they are rather close, yeah, that's true, but they also got some things really wrong, which also makes me angry. So when I say that, we are back to the ad again, if you remember what this topic is even about. when you are a National Health Organization and you're making this ad, when I say you should make it about the paleo diet, if you should choose a single diet, and they chose a single diet, then you should make it about the real paleo diet and not like the paleo books describe it, but the real paleo diet, the scientifically paleo diet we know of, if they try to read some science instead of thinking with their feelings and just put out stuff they just want you to eat instead of facts, like they should do, like a National Health Organization. Oh, I'm getting tired of being that angry. I didn't sound that angry right now, but inside I'm angry. So that's what I think about the ad and why I get so annoyed about seeing that ad. Because I know this stuff about the diets and how they compare and why they exist and what we ate at this point in times and stuff. And like I have told you before, when I think about stuff, I don't think about that single stuff alone. I put all my knowledge together to conclude things. And when I do that, I conclude that this ad is full of bullshit. I'll also conclude that the ad should actually promote paleo diet, if it should even exist. I think that ads telling you how you should eat don't make sense at all. You can eat in very different ways. I don't say you eat wrong just because you don't follow the paleo diet. I just say if a National Health Organization should tell you to follow a diet, it should not tell you to be vegan or even close to that. It should tell you to eat like the paleo diet, because that's probably the most healthiest way you can eat. But I believe that no one eats like the paleo diet. I at least don't want to eat like the paleo diet because there's no milkshake in the paleo diet. And I want my milkshake. And I don't need a lot of candy, but I don't like to exclude things, and I don't want to exclude candy, but the paleo diet don't include candies because we have not invented candies at the time of the Stone Age. Even not the late Stone Age. And I actually think, well, the paleo diet is one thing. But in the paleo diet was up until 10,000 years ago, and around the point of 10,000 years ago was actually the point where we started growing our own vegetables. So we were just barely starting eating vegetables in the late of the paleo age, like late of the early Stone Age. And the middle Stone Age was mostly about trying different vegetables we could grow. And then the late part of the Stone Age was the part where we ate mostly meat and berries, other fruits also, but berries mostly. And say other fruit because the berry is actually a kind of fruit, but whatever. And some vegetables too, but not so much. Again, that it was half our plate of vegetables. We were not going crazy like that. We just took a little bit when we don't get meat enough and such. So I actually think that because I eat vegetables and I have not died yet, so you can eat vegetables. It's not like vegetables are totally unhealthy for you. So I think if you should really eat like the Stone Age, you should eat like the full Stone Age. Not just the early Stone Age, the paleo times, but eat more like the late Stone Age. And that's also why the paleo diet is stupid, because the paleo diet is actually closer to the late Stone Age, which again are not called paleo, it's called something else. Paleo is the early Stone Age. I should switch it around for you actually. The paleo is the only stone. No, it's not the only. Stone Age is the only Stone Age. What the fuck can I say? Paleo is the early Stone Age. Then we have the middle one. That's kind of a change action. And then we have the late Stone Age, which are actually quite close to what we call the paleo diet. So they should actually have called it that. But they cannot change the name now because paleo sounds so good. And I also think they chose Paleo because it sounds better, because the other birds actually sounds quite stupid. So I hate Paleo diets because they don't promote Paleo diets, but more like late Stone Age diet. But I actually like the late Stone Age diet. Also, it's very hard to live by the Paleo diet because it lasted 3 million years, and we changed our diet a lot in that 3 million years. So a Paleo diet is not one single diet, unless you combine our ways of eating in one, and just say you should eat some meat and some fruits and some berries, but not the amount and which kind of meat has also changed. And mostly fish. Always eat mostly fish. That's that works through all the time. So that's actually right. I actually didn't believe that up until very recently, because I have never eaten mostly fish. I have more eat mostly cows and pigs and chicken. But actually, it's true that in most of the humankind history, the history of the human species, we have eaten mostly fish. So it's probably better for you to do that. But I like the late Stone Age. It also don't last that long, so it's easier to concentrate on that and say eat like that, and try to eat like that, and it makes more sense also because it's closer to our time period than the 3 million years ago early Stone Age was. So to eat like we did from 2 to 10,000 years ago, not 10,000 million years ago, but 10,000 years ago, that makes more sense, I think, to do like that. But it'll eat like the Stone Age as a whole. I just think, just eat like the full Stone Age is a good idea, because it worked for us that time, and also the Paleo times is actually where we evolve our big brains. The most of our evolution has happened in the Stone Age as a whole, and especially the Paleo part of it, but that's also lasted longer, so it makes sense. But our brain has grown to 5 times the size it was at the start of the Stone Age through the Paleo part of the Stone Age. And it's probably because we ate so much meat. Because animals that eat meat has bigger brains and are clever and more tactical in their hunting than animals that just have to eat grass. Which makes sense because they don't have to do anything. They just have to eat grass and be lucky that they don't get eaten. Some have to hide, and some actually try to hide, but it's not so complicated as a hunter. A hunter has to think very complicated to hunt animals and get it right every single time. So it makes sense. Their brain are bigger, but also because they eat meat, their brain grows bigger. So there is something about the meat and brain growth. And there must be something good about the Paleo diet, since we have grown to such a superior species than what we was before in that period of time. So I don't think it's a bad idea to live like a Stone Age at all. And I probably think that it's better than living like we most of us do today. Not only because of the McDonald's, but there is a lot of things wrong with our diets today, I think, because we have a lot of people with strange sickness, like ADHD, for example. Very many psychical, what the fuck I'm trying to say? Psychological illness. I think that's the right word. We have a lot of people with that nowadays compared to old days. Maybe because we just discovered more nowadays, but I also think there's something about our diet that's wrong. Many people are allergic to fucking milk. That makes sense if you go back to this early Stone Age where we don't drink milk other than from our mother's breast, but not from cows. But it was actually somewhere in the Stone Age where we got used to milky products. Firstly, it's not a milky product, but firstly we started eating eggs. That's not exactly meat, but also kind of meat. So it comes from an animal, but it's not the meat of the animal we are eating. So we're just eating eggs. And at some point we also started to drink the milk of cows and dogs and goats and stuff. So we actually has evolved to could drink milk. So actually people today that are allergic against milk, it doesn't make sense evolutionary, because we have been used to milk in thousands of years. Like at least 10,000 years we have been used to milk. So it's not because of the disease system are not used to milk that some people are allergic to milk. It's actually, and like it's an arrow in the evolution. The evolution has failed that person. And if you are out there and cannot take drinking milk or any other things I'm gonna talk about in the near future, right now I'm not trying to hurt you or anything. It's of course a little bit sad for you. You cannot drink milk because then you have to exclude some things you maybe don't want to exclude, but you has probably already found another way of living where you can drink other stuff that's tasty and you live fine with that. So that's great for you. It's probably fine. I'm not saying that you are a totally bad person because you don't drink milk. And also I think that people's are more about like how they feel and think than what they have of illness and stuff. It is actually the evolution that has failed if you cannot drink milk. And even it's not a good thing to talk about, but even if you are gay was an illness back in the day. And I say was an illness and not was seen as an illness, because what is an illness? An illness is what we say it is. It's a word we have made up. So it was an illness because it's still in the book of illness, whatever. Being gay was an illness back in the day, but now it's not seen as an illness anymore because it don't really fit in with the other illness. I think it's a whole other way, because being gay is like a chosen path of life. And yeah, you can say, some people say you don't choose to be gay, you just feel that you are gay. It's a feeling you get and it's nothing you choose yourself. But you can say the same thing about living in Denmark. It's an illness living in Denmark. I didn't choose it myself, but it's my path of life right now. So it doesn't fit in with illness. I don't think that. So I don't think gay is an illness, of course, and I think most people don't. That's why it's no longer in the illness. However, being gay is, by fact, evolution that has failed, because evolution is about a few things, a few principles. It's about the strongest survive, and it's about the survival of the species. And producing more gay humans don't make the humankind survive, because gay people don't naturally, of course, make kids. Nowadays, there's a lot of ways to get a kid. It don't have to come out of yourself or your wife if you are male. It can also come out of someone else, and then you can buy it, because that's how it is. You pay for it, so to buy it, you can buy the child of the other couple. And actually, we get more and more people that don't want to have kids, and they can be straight. I'm not talking about the gays now. We have more and more people that don't want kids, and they are also the evolution that has failed, just as much as the gay ones. But actually, because we have some gays, then the gays can take over the kid. The straight couple don't bond, so the straight couple can mate. Oh, it sounds so stupid when I say it like that. But the straight couple can mate, make some kids, and then the gay couple can take all their kids because the straight couple don't want to have a kid. And that makes the exact same number of humans as if the gay couple was not gay and make their own kids, and therefore the straight couple didn't make a kid because no one wanna buy the kid, so they don't make a kid in the first place. So actually, it's not only because of the gays that we get less humans, because the gays often want kids. It's because of the gay people that don't want kids, but that don't make sense because the straight couple that don't want kids probably also don't make kids. So it's not ruining the humankind that is gay existing. Actually, in some ways, it's a part of the survival, and maybe that's why the evolution are producing more gay people, because if gay people can buy the kids of the people that just don't want to have kids. So maybe it's actually how the evolution works now, because the evolution producing more straight people that don't want kids, it also produce more gay people that can buy the kids. I don't know if that's how evolution works. But no matter which one came first and how they work together, then both of these things, straight people that don't want kids and gay people, both of these type of human is actually like isolated. It is failing in the evolution, because the straight people that don't want kids don't make the race go any further, and the gay people don't make the race go any further. So the best way to make humankind survive is to make straight people that wanna have sex and kids and stuff, and lot of kids. Make straight people that wanna have at least 5 kids. That'll be the best way to make humankind survive. So these people that want a lot of kids with a person of the other sex is the peak of the evolution, actually. But now I'm talking about the full picture and about the humankind. When I'm talking about single persons, I have no problem with a person being gay or don't want kids. I'm happy that the person that don't want kids don't get kids, because if you don't want it, you should not have it, because you can probably not take care of it anyway if you don't want it in the first place. It's like if you get a smartphone you don't want in present, Christmas present, whatever, you probably don't take care of it that well as you will do if you got a smartphone you really, really want. So it also has to match up. So I'm totally fine with people that don't want kids, don't have kids. But I'm sad that there is people that don't want kids, because it will be better for the humankind if everyone wants kids, I believe. But when they say they don't want kids and therefore don't have it, then I'm glad they don't have it. So, but no matter what, I accept the people that are gay and don't want kids. Trust me on that one. So when I'm talking to a single person that are gay or don't want kids or whatever, I think it's totally fine, and I'm focusing on the personality. And if I like the person's personality, I don't care about that part of the person's opinions. But when I'm talking about the human race as a whole, I must say that it is evolution that has failed, because that makes sense. That how evolution works, that it must be an error somewhere. And I think that we are getting more arrows in the evolution, like the arrow where you cannot drink milk. And now I'm saying that, now I'm comparing gay people to people that don't drink milk, and that sounds so stupid, because gay people are a way of life, and people that don't drink milk, that's actually an illness. But evolution has made us able to drink milk, and of course to mate with a person of the other sex evolutionary way of thinking will be the evolution should produce a human that can drink milk, eat lots of meat, both raw meat and cooked meat, vegetables, fruits, grasses, leaves, everything, and being like people of the other sex and have a lot of sex and with that person, like having sex with that person and make a lot of kids. That is the prime human the evolution should make. But that's not how all human is. And I'm happy they're not, because it will be very boring without all of us. If all of us like that, of course. I like diversity in humans too. I like we are different. Sometimes too different. I'm not talking about gays here, I'm talking about personality. I really like people have kind of the same opinions as me, and you probably don't have, but tell me in the comments anyway, because I also like diversity. It's a split opinion I have there. But if you are too different, I'd probably tell you to shop. Fuck that. I try to hold on to the facts here instead of using my own opinions. But my own opinions are basically the same as the facts anyway. And many people say that, but I think it's true when I say it, because I'm talking most about facts, and I base my opinion upon the facts. But again, the prime human evolution should make is that again, right? So it doesn't make so much of that anymore. It makes lots of gays and lots of people that don't want to have more than one kid, maybe, or maybe none at all. Even if people want kids, it's mostly one or two, maybe three. It will not be three. But it's very unnormal now that people want 5 kids or something. So it's kind of strange, and also it's producing more of these lactose intolerant people and people with ADHD. I'm just mentioning very different things here. I'm not just comparing. I'm not saying everything is the same. I just mentioned a lot of different things to say that all of these things are actually arrows in the evolution, which are strange because we are producing more of these arrows in the evolution. And that's probably not good. So, but the good thing is, it sounds really harsh, this one, but again, I'm talking about the humankind. The good thing is that gay people cannot mate, so it will not go further in the evolution line. And even if gay people could mate, it will not be a problem, because then they could mate. So therefore, the humans cannot die out. I don't remember the word. That die out. The humankind cannot die out totally just because there exists some gay people, because the only way gay people could be going further down, like the thing, whatever it is that makes you gay, the only way that gene could go down the line of the evolution will be if gay people could mate. But if gay people could mate, then there will be no problem, because then the humankind will survive. We will just all be gays. But if we could mate, we can mate, we can have sex. But if we could get kids together, it will be no problem if everyone was gay. The only problem with being gay is, and there's no problem with being gay, in my personal opinion, it's the human kind evolutionary way of thinking I'm talking about right now. The only problem with being gay is that you cannot have your own kids. But that's also the good thing about being gay, because then you cannot pass down the gene of being gay down the evolutionary line. So why do we get more gays? That's very strange, actually. And maybe we are not getting more gays, maybe gays are just more accepted. So it looks like there are more gays because gays are telling people they're gay. There could also be a reason. But let's just say fuck that. Maybe this is the truth. I'm not saying it's not, but it's funnier to say fuck that. And let's say there are being more gays nowadays because there are being more lactose intolerant people, but there can also be something other than the genes, because maybe you get lactose intolerant in your lifetime. Maybe it's not something you are born with, but maybe you get it through your lifetime because your parents are some stupid ass. If you have a kid that's lactose intolerant, don't take it too personal. I'm just saying maybe. Maybe it's because you are a stupid ass that try to take care of your kid too much and they don't get the bacteria they need to evolve their survival skills of drinking milk. What I'm saying is maybe you have given your kid less of milk than other kids. Or maybe you have smoked inside your home or taken cocaine. It can be a lot of things. But maybe you have done something to your kid that makes the kid not able to tolerate milk anymore. And there's also this illness, asthma, where you don't breathe that well. I'm not sure what can make that happen, but I'm pretty sure that too much smoke when you're a kid could make that happen, because I heard that before. But also my parents smoked a lot and I have not asthma, but I also have no illness, never ever. I don't have, I have no problems right now. The only problems I ever have is if I broke something, or if I get a little cough. So and I don't even get cough anymore. It's like 12 years ago now, and last was sick at all. So that's just me, and that's probably because I eat the way I does and live the way I does. Like work out a lot, but not work out in the sense of going to fitness, but work out in the sense of my lifestyle. I just chose to live life the hard way, like we did in the Stone Age. Not like we did in the Stone Age. I'm not crawling around trees and hopping around in trees all the day. I'm just telling that what we did in the Stone Age, and I live the hard way life a little bit more than others. So maybe that's why I'm closer to the Stone Age than others in my way the body works. So maybe that's why I don't have asthma or lactose intolerance or anything like that. But maybe it's a gene. It's a gene you get if your parents have lived in a stupid way their life. Like if it has been, I don't know, vegans or just milk haters. I don't know. If they have not lived by the paleo diet at all. That's the only way why I say vegan, because vegan is like the most opposite you can get of a paleo diet, because paleo diet are mostly meats and vegans are no meats at all, so it makes sense, right? So I'm just trying to say some things that are long away from the paleo diets, which are what we have lived most of the humankind's history, and we have lived at least half the paleo diet up until modern times, where we start being vegans and stuff. So maybe that's why kids get lactose intolerance, because their parents lived in a very modern way, not so paleo. So change their digestive system a lot, and then they get kids that are just fucked up because they changed their digestive system in one generation instead of changing it through 10,000 of years. That could also be why, but it could also just be because the parent tried to change their kids' eating habits by make their kids eat other stuff than normally you normally do, and exclude some stuff that are maybe important for a kid to eat. That could also be a reason why many kids get lactose intolerant and get asthma and ADHD today. I'm actually pretty sure it has something with at least one of the two, or maybe the combination of the two to do, because my parents lived like really old people. They are old people, but they lived like the old days. It was just a bunch of meat, some potatoes, and some sauce on top, and that's your food. Get some bread with some meaty topping on top, and then you are good to go for the rest of the day. And that's well, the sauce part, of course, not that healthy, but most of the other parts are actually very paleo-ish. It's not just paleo in the healthy way, but it is still paleo, so maybe it's better than having something non-paleo but that looks healthy, like a vegetable smoothie. Sounds very healthy, right? But it's not very paleo at all. If you only ate smoothie that like these people will call it. Some people call it that. At least I hate it because you don't eat smoothie, you drink smoothie. If you should eat smoothie, you should do it with a spoon, like a yogurt and stuff. But if you actually drink it, then you drink it. That's how it works in my head, at least. So just be the same in juice because I think it stays itself. But however, if you only ate smoothie for a full day, that's not paleo at all because you only get stuff. Again, if you do a vegetable smoothie, that most people do if they do it instead of dinner. If you just kind of like smoothie sometimes, but eat food besides, then you probably do a fruit smoothie. And fruit smoothie is actually very paleo, but a vegetable smoothie, like you can do instead of dinner, is I don't even think you can do that, but some people think they can do that instead of dinner. That's very non-paleo. And I don't remember why I was talking about this at all actually, but that's probably the reasons why people get all these illness today. I'm not talking about being gay now. I'm talking about lactose intolerance and asthma. That's illness. I'm not called other things illness because I don't think it's an illness. Uh, but these precisely illnesses we have a lot of and more of every single day today. That's probably from one of these things, these two possibilities. And I was talking about that maybe there are more gays, or maybe they're just telling people they are gay today. But what about lactose intolerance? I'm pretty sure they will tell people that are lactose intolerant even 20 years ago, if they were, because you it's not that cool to drink milk that you just have to drink milk, right? Because you are at dinner at some people, you are their guest and they serve you milk, you have to drink their milk. I don't think any people think like that, or hopefully not many. So I think if you are lactose intolerant 20, 40 years ago, let's just say that, then you would probably not drink milk. And people that know at least will know that. So I think there must be more today. Either that, or maybe people has discovered, have easier to discover that are lactose intolerant today. Because maybe people were lactose intolerant 40 years ago, but didn't really know. But also, I think you will know quite fast because when you drink milk and it's not good for you, then you don't drink it anymore. That's how our instinct works. If we drink something and feel it bad, we will not do it again. So the only reason I can see that happening is because lactose intolerant people are actually not lactose intolerant, but they just think they are. But they're actually hypochondriac. They're very easy to think they're sick, even when they're not sick. They are the opposite as me. I only think I'm sick when there is no doubt I'm sick. Even lately, I just got I don't know if you can say it on YouTube. I hear story about it, you cannot say it on YouTube, but I thought I just got corona a couple days ago, but I'm not sick at all. I didn't get sick the exact second I discovered I had corona. I had it just fine a couple of days after, and I actually tested myself 2 times more, and I has got negative both of the time after. Also, I probably don't have corona. It was probably just a false positive, because now I have got more negative than positive afterwards. So it's probably a negative. That's true. So at least I officially now don't have corona. So, and I don't think so because I'm not sick. I'm just fine. So I don't think I have it. No, and that's how I works. So maybe it's the people that works the other way around. I actually feel most people that are lactose intolerant are very easy to think they're sick. Where most people or all people I know, they're like me. They are very hard to say they're sick. Will not have any illness at all. So I think there is like some similarities there, and there should be a reason for it. So I think people just think they're more sick today than they actually are. That could be a reason why there are more sick people today, because we just think we are sick today, but we actually aren't that sick. We could actually do just fine. But the problem is, if you think you're sick and you try to evolve in that direction, then you can actually get a hard time. Because if you never drink milk your whole life, then you will not be able to tolerate milk, maybe, just maybe, later in your life. And that's also why you should never, ever, in my opinion, raise a kid as a vegan, because firstly, kids are growing very fast. You should never turn vegan before you're fully grown, because our key to growth is our meat. So you should give the kid a lot of meat so it can grow well. And also, your body will have we have different kind of evolution. We have this short evolution. So my camera actually died again, like it did in my last video of the inside of my head, and again maybe it's just for the better. I was nearly finished my talking anyway, so it's not that bad. I was not talking for an hour plus after the camera died, so it's just fine, and maybe it's a good point to cut off anyway. I was just talking about the different like stages of evolution, where you have the long time evolution taking tens of thousands of years, and then you have kind of a short-term evolution that can happen in a lifetime, where you can evolve yourself to better tolerate different kind of things and get a worse toleration to different kind of things. So you cannot fully evolve if you are meat. If you were an animal fully meat eating, you cannot evolve to go fully vegan. Or if you was an animal that was fully vegan, you cannot go fully meat eater. So you cannot evolve that much in one lifetime, but you can evolve a little bit. And that was the point I was making about the vegan parents and stuff, and how you should treat your kids, and fuck that for now. Because the conclusion of this video is, or what I can conclude after all of this thinking with my brain, all of these thoughts going on inside my brain, then I can conclude that if you are making an ad for how people should eat, if you really have to tell people how they should eat, which you should not really tell people how they should eat. You can tell them some facts, you can give them some ideas. However, if you should do it in a scientific way, where you use the scientific best case diet, which are the Stone Age diet. not the Paleo diet, because Paleo is a bit too early, but the fully Stone Age diet. And well, I could have said that an hour ago, but that's my way of thinking. I have to be sure before I conclude anything, so I go all the way around before I conclude things. But let that be the conclusion of the video, and I hope you enjoyed the ride. That was the inside of my head for today, and hope it don't scare you too much. I hope you learn something, maybe. If not, just about how you should think, then about the Stone Age maybe, or something, whatever. Or maybe just got a good laugh. Think it was kind of interesting and funny, at least at some points in the video, whatever. If you liked it, consider subscribing for more videos like this and my other videos. I have tech reviews, unboxings, I have travel vlogs, and what was I about to say? Gaming videos too, and many different things on my channel. So maybe you will like just some of it. So take a look at it, and if you really like this video, consider liking it, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.